Welcome to Biztechasia Jobs and Careers show. Today on the show, we're going to focus on leadership development. And to share some insights with us, we have Salina Salli. She's the founder and learning designer at Digital Dolphin Academy. Now, Digital Dolphin Academy is a training provider in Malaysia that combines technology with accelerated learning methodologies to enable learners to measure impact and make sustainable change to their learning experiences. Now, Sally, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you so much for having me. Really excited.
Now, Sally, for a start, the bulk of your programs center on developing leaders with the necessary skills to navigate this dynamic and complex environment. Now, in your opinion, what are key leadership skills that are required for success in these challenging times?
First of all, Brian, I want to talk about leadership a little bit. Why I as a company, we choose to focus on leadership, because personally, I believe, no matter how much the capital or how much resources the company have, without good leaders, nothing is possible. So that's why leadership is very good thing to focus on right now. So coming back to your question, what are the leadership skills that we should have in the challenging time? Well, in terms of the leadership skills, there's a lot of skills that we can talk about. But for me, I believe the two most important skills that people need to focus now, especially in the dynamic and also volatile environment that we are currently living, is actually resilience and also mental toughness. So without this, we find ourselves going into a lot of business challenges, but with resilient skill of the leaders, you'll be able to navigate your team to come out and pivot from whatever that you're planning into something better than before. So that's what I thought.
And also this has come through, of course, particularly because as we've come out of the pandemic, I think you used a key word there, which is pivot. And I think the resilient leaders who didn't panic so much, obviously everyone panicked at the start of the pandemic, but were able to thrive, partly also to embrace digital transformation. And I think that's another key thing that is an important skill set for leaders right now, isn't it? Understanding of technology.
Definitely. We have like all sort of leaders in our market, in the Malaysian context, right? And in general, Malaysians are pretty high in terms of the technology literacy. So adapting in the technology so much is not a big deal from my personal point of view. Rolling out new technology is easy, but how to use this technology to bring the whole company into the new direction that you want to go. So that's the challenge as the leader.
Okay, so Sally, one of the key things is the following. You work with a lot of very large companies in Malaysia, government-linked companies in particular. And many of these companies have the resources and have invested over the years in learning and development platforms. How has this then shaped their ability then to coach their people in terms of digital transformation?
Well, I've throughout my careers, I've seen a lot of examples in terms of how learning have helped people to grow and to become better. I am what do you call that? I'm really interested to really see in terms of the technology being used, technology investment being used into accelerating the learning process. Because if you see right now, there's so many resources out there in terms of learning. There's a lot of platform that provides all kind of learning at the tips of your finger. Everybody can start learning right now. So all this GLC that we have in the company already have started investing in this sort of learning management system way back, even before COVID has started. But with COVID, the usage or the enforcement. I didn't say enforcement, I should say encouragement for people to use the technology and to keep on learning has tremendously changed. We've seen a platform that has not been used before. It's there, but it's not been used before. Now people are start rethinking on how to make the system better and make it more accessible to all the employees in the organization. End of the day, what we want to encourage people to learn by making it easier, making it more accessible to everybody to access the platform. So that's
okay. So what are some of the key tools that you've seen that has been increasingly adopted by your clients and large GLCs?
There's a lot of technology out there, and people, many organizations, they choose to use different technologies. But what I've seen that started growing is in terms of the social learning platform, where because before this, all this LMS is a PC based or a laptop based. So you need to access to a laptop, but moving it into a mobile version, making it more accessible and incorporating the social element in the platform become key. So how do people engage with the speakers or with the thought leaders that giving the training? How do people share their experience? That is the key. That's that I think will start to grow as the time will go past.
Sally, one of the key things is also happening is there's a greater trend towards micro learning and shorter courses, as opposed to perhaps in the past where everything is towards either getting formal degree qualifications or PhDs or master's degrees. Today, it's all around micro learning and short courses. What have you seen in your experience that sort of reinforces this thinking?
Oh, definitely. People's attention are much shorter nowadays. Workload becoming heavier and stress becoming higher. So having these short courses, or I call it bite-sized learning, will help fill in the gap so that people are not so burdened about the requirement to learn. It becomes part of the culture of the organization. So things like short lunch talk has become a thing nowadays. A lot of people are opening up a session and making it optional for people to learn about certain things. 1 hour talk. Introducing pre-recorded videos, content like bite-sized content and self-paced content, where employees can go at their pace to learn. So that's becoming key as well now.
Okay, now I want to zoom in a little bit on individual job seekers and employees, because our conversation has been broad up to this point. What can job seekers do to prepare themselves to basically perform better in their careers, particularly to develop their leadership skills?
Oh, this is a very interesting question, Brian. I love this question, because when people ask me about leadership, right, or when people engage a training provider like myself to do their leadership development program, it's always for the leaders, people who basically has become a managers. But for me, to the job seekers out there, leadership essentially is your ability to influence. So you don't need an official title, official promotion to start practicing this leadership role. So what I say, because I also do a lot of talk in university students, I send them the same message. You start leading or start stepping into the leadership role wherever you are. Doesn't matter what position you are. You can start as junior executive. You can start leading. So by practicing to take up a leadership role, to get people to do things that you want them to do, that is gonna do wonders to you. From sharpening your leadership skill. Don't wait. So that's my key message. Don't wait until you'll be promoted as a manager to step into the leadership role.
And Sally, one of the key things that people can do that as an individual, executive or so forth, who has not been promoted, is really then developing leadership skills outside of the workforce, isn't it? It's by volunteering and taking charge of doing things, whether it's the masjid outreach program or a pet rescue program and so forth. I think those are some of the key things that young people can develop their leadership skills.
Definitely, Brian, you hit on the money there, masjid, because this is one of the examples that Eric gave. Like, to be a leader, you don't need a position, you just need a platform. You need people you just need to influence people towards a positive cause. Being a, what do you call that? Being a PTA, head of the PTA in the school is also a leadership position. So it doesn't require much for you. You just need to step into the position and done.
And also it brings to mind, as you've been talking, Robin Sharma, the leadership guru, who says, lead without title. And that really echoes what you just said just now.
Exactly.
Now, what kind of support can companies give young leaders or potential leaders or high performance, especially in the early stage of their careers? Now, they've not been promoted to manager yet, but besides the structured management training programs that some companies have for their high performers or their scholars, what other programs have you seen that have been effective in developing future leaders?
There's a lot of programs that or initiatives that company or individual leaders can do to actually groom the young executive. This is for me, this is one of the key things that we as Malaysian companies should do more. One thing that I think should be done a little bit more is by giving opportunity for people to start taking up a bigger role. You know, they are executive, they fresh graduate, but we don't know what they can achieve until we really give them, you know, substantial or meaningful project for them to lead. And once it's done, the reflection process need to happen from the leaders, from the direct report per se. So that will help identify what are the weaknesses, what can be done but better, or what are the things that they are doing well. So by continuously doing this and including the, you know, the continuous feedback cycle, feedback culture, so to say, it will then make sure that the young executive will increase the leadership role in a much more accelerated time frame.
Now, Sally, in all your years of experience, I'm sure you've worked with a lot of different companies. Which companies, perhaps one or two examples that really stand out for you in terms of how they develop their leaders internally?
Okay, let me take a bit of time to reflect on this. So I think all the companies that I've worked with previously, not many, I only worked for 4 companies. When I work with large GLC, they have a very structured leadership programs, which really helps to introduce the formal knowledge about what being a leader is all about. So that's wonderful. I have the opportunity to learn at the early start of my career. It's great. But the other thing that I want to highlight is when I work with MNC company, but based in Malaysia. So it's not so much on the programs that they do, it's more towards the culture that they enforce. The culture of everybody is a leader on its own. Doesn't matter what level you are at in terms of your position level, but when you take over a project, you are responsible end to end to lead the project and make sure it's success. So the culture is very deeply ingrained in the way we work. So any point of time where the leaders make mistakes, it's being transparently and respectfully called out, so that we remember, we will learn from the mistake and make sure that we will do better in the future project. So I think that one is quite an impactful experience for me throughout my careers.
Now, Salli, it's been a great conversation with you, but before we leave, any final thoughts you'd like to leave the audience with?
So the final thought I want to say to everyone who's listening, when we talk about leadership, things become like a bit overblown, because we talk about leadership, we talk about leaders. The first thing that we recall is all the CEOs, all the big successful entrepreneurs. But the bottom line is, leadership is your ability to influence people. So wherever position that you are, you have this power to influence people. And if everyone have the same mindset or the same understanding, then we will be doing the same thing. And as a result of this understanding, the competency level of Malaysian executive as a whole will definitely increase. So it will bring a lot of benefit to the organization and also the country.
Salli, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Brian, for having me. It's been wonderful speaking to you.
I'm Brian Fernandez, and we've been speaking to Salina Salli. She's the founder and learning designer at Digital Dolphin Academy. On Biztechasia, Jobs and Careers show. This video and podcast will be on our social media platforms, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. It'll also be on our syndication partners, TV stations, radio stations, and websites. Thanks a lot for tuning in.